So something that I do as part of my work is I travel a lot. And in fact, some days I can be on a plane almost every day. And that might sound glamorous, but I can tell you what, it is so good to get home. And one of the best things about coming home is that I have a particular driver who picks me up, and his name is Bruce. Now, Bruce is a really interesting character. He drives part-time, and he used to be a pilot, and he lives on a boat, and one of the things that he does is he flies part-time for a company called Angel Flight. Now, I don't know if you've heard of Angel Flight before, but what they do is they supply emergency flights, or non-emergency flights I should say, to hospitals for kids who need non-emergency care. Now, that's things like where they have cancer or leukaemia and things like that. Now, the government don't supply funding for this type of service. They rely totally on public donations. Now, in Bruce's case, he drives to have enough money to put fuel into his plane so that he can go out and pick these kids up and take them to the hospital for their care. So I think he's a pretty extraordinary human being. There's one thing that he does, or used to do, and he used to have a little dog. It was a Chihuahua, and the Chihuahua's name was Harley. And what he used to do would dress Harley up, and she'd have a little nurse's outfit on. So it was white with a red cross on it and a little hat. And what he used to do is bring her on the plane. And so the kids, when he would fly them to the hospital for their treatment, it was a real treat. You know, they were sort of excited to go. In fact, they kind of looked forward to it at a time when it was really difficult time for them. And they loved being able to see Harley on the plane. So it provided a way to kind of get their mind off it as well on the way to the hospital. Now, unfortunately, Bruce's dog, Harley, passed away last year. And he was telling me that in September, he had to go and pick Sarah up. Now, Sarah lived out at Longreach, and she was going through leukaemia treatment. And when he picked Sarah up, Sarah got on the plane and said, "Bruce, where's Harley?" And he said, "I'm so sorry, darling, but I have to tell you that Harley's passed away." And she said, "Oh, that's okay. Well, I'll get to see Harley soon." Bruce said that was a really hard day to get through. And I can imagine, you know, that must have been very difficult. But when I get off a plane, I have a choice. I can choose to go with Uber, I can get in a black and white cab or a yellow cab, or I can go with Bruce. And I always go with Bruce because I like him. I reckon he's a good bloke and he's doing something really good out in the community. And if I get to have some way to contribute to that and help, then that makes me feel good. And I think that when you've got companies that are coming into markets where you compete on price, you become commoditised. And I think the same thing happens on LinkedIn. It's really easy to get caught up in how many connections I've got and how many click-throughs and how many people liked my comments or how many people liked my article. And it all just becomes a bit commoditised. In fact, I think sometimes it's really easy to just hit accept and not even think about how the experience is humanised. And what I try to encourage people to do, and something I would suggest you might like to think about, is how can you be a Bruce with your profile? Just because you're behind a computer doesn't mean that we turn into computers. You know, it's about becoming more humanised, because the more that you humanise, the more people will like you, the more they want to connect with you. And that's what makes us truly unique and makes us stand out. So you don't have to fly planes, you don't have to have a Chihuahua called Harley, but I think something that you could do that's really simple is even just, if someone offers to connect with you, even just say, "Hi, thanks for offering to connect. Is there something I can give you a hand with?" You know, your profile's a little bit like a shop. Just imagine if you were a shop and customers walking in. You know, you wouldn't ignore them or just treat them like, you know, they're anybody. You would say, "Hi, how you going? Can I help?" So I think it's the same thing. And my experience has been that around 50% of people who offer to connect with you want some help. So if not now, but at some stage even in the future. So be a Bruce, do what you can to humanise the experience as opposed to commoditise, and you'll be able to stand out and connect and really help the people that you really want to help. So I hope that's helpful, and I really look forward to seeing you again soon.